Should have paid more.
So we should have paid more? Okay, you get a raise, right? You get a raise. So we have Ms. Yomira, we have Ms. Lourdes, and Nancy, correct? Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So before you guys met with Ms. Maida or invited, you guys have never heard of PHP in the past? You're like, what is that? What is this thing, right? What am I doing here on a Saturday morning? I woke up early for this, right? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about us and a little bit of my story. This is the corporate background for me, if you guys want to see my qualifications. It doesn't matter. You can look me up online, okay? I like pictures. Who likes pictures better than me? Me, okay. So, born and raised in Oxnard, California, from two immigrant parents. One of them from Michoacan. Anyone heard of Michigan and Mexico? Michoacan? Okay. Which part?
Briseñas.
Briseñas? Okay.
Zamora, Michoacán.
Very close. My dad is from a pueblo que se llama Acuitzerán, Michoacán, cerca de Purépedo. So very close to there. And my mom comes from a place called Ocotlan, Jalisco. Anyone heard of these places? Okay, we know, right? Okay, we got it, right? And they came here to obviously give me and my sister a better opportunity. So we're born here. And most people only know Oxnard for what? Strawberries and boxing. My dad said, you're not picking those strawberries, and I don't like getting hit in the face. So I'm like, okay, I got to find another career. So they said, you got to go to school, get good grades, and get a good what? Education, get a good job, right? That's what they told us. So that's what I did. Got a degree, I'm all excited. I'm like, woo, got my diploma. And when you graduate, it's kind of like a CVS receipt. If you guys have those long CVS receipts, like I just bought one item. Why is it this long, right? Well, this is all the stuff I had to pay once I graduated. I'm like, oh man, I gotta start working. So I went into the workforce and fell into the wine industry. Anyone like wine here?
Yeah.
Grape juice, we got a couple wine, okay, oh, cool. And coming from, los Latinos, I knew nothing about wine. I didn't even know how to open a bottle. I thought it came in a box. So when I went in, I'm like, oh, this is fancy. I'm in Malibu, the Kardashians are coming, all these famous people. So I feel like I made it, right? I'm right here. I'm right in the center of everything. And that's a picture of me right there at the wine bar. And we would have a lot of customers and clients come in on a Monday, Wednesday afternoon and have a glass of wine. I'm like, how are you drinking on a Monday? Like, what do you do for work? And every single one would say, oh, I'm a business owner. Oh, I'm a business owner. So when I'm here having this glass of wine, I'm still making money. And it just got stuck in my head. I'm like, I want to be a business owner, right? So that's what we did. We bought a wine bar in downtown Ventura, California Street. We're like, woo, we're business owners now, right? Right here with the suit, felt really good. But I realized very quickly that I didn't buy a business, I just bought a job. What do I mean by that? I had to pay rent, I had to buy product to sell, I had to pay employees, insurance, all these different things before I made any money. And if I didn't sell, I would not eat. Man, this whole business thing is very difficult, right? I'm still trading my time for money. I can't have a glass of wine and still making money. If I'm not behind the bar, as you can see me right here, wheeling and dealing, we're not making any profit. So I'm like, oh man, this thing sucks. So I went more on the corporate route. So I went to wine distribution on the corporate side here in Oxnard as well. It's one of the largest kosher wine distributors in the world. If you've ever heard of it, look it up, okay? And I was like, man, I'm fancy. I was making really good money, but I never had control of my time. I was there 6 days a week, 12 hours on, 12 hours. It was like just all day long. And when you're managing 13 to 25 people, if somebody calls in, you're coming in. So as far as time off, forget about it. Over 5 years, I missed every barbecue. I missed every birthday party. I even missed my parents renewing their vows. I was the only one in the entire family that didn't show up. Why? Because I was there for the company. I was a company guy, right? And it came time where I got the call that I was gonna be a dad. We got any parents here?
Yeah.
Got a couple parents, okay? And I was like, man, what am I gonna do with a daughter? I'm over here sweating, right? And it was not conducive of me having a family at that job. So I said, hey, can I take some time off? And they go, Martin, you can take all the time off, but right now, we're really busy. Kind of need you. So on the time that I broke my back for them, and it was time for me to come cash that check, they said, we'll let you know when you can take it. And from that moment, I'm like, I'm done here. I should have walked out, right? But I have responsibilities now. So I started looking around. Do I go get my master's? Do I go become a doctor? Like, what am I gonna do? Because I was just looking, right? And I got recruited into this field where my buddies like, come check this thing out. I'm like, PHP, I don't even like that name. That sounds weird, right? Came on board, saw the values and principles of the company, and I saw what they stood for, and I said, where do I sign in? Where do I do it? That was my first month in business right there with the red shirt that I'm holding up. That's me and my mom right there. We're speaking on stage. Became brokers here, but what I love about this business and what's allowed us to do is change our community. Because everybody wants to change the world, right? But how do you change the world? You do it by one family at a time, one city at a time, one community at a time, right? And we started something about 5 years ago where we partnered up with the American Cancer Society, and we do a breast cancer awareness event every October, where every single year we've been able to fund over $10,000 for cancer research. That's not just a drop in the bucket, that's true lives being changed. And guess what, my past positions, we never had that opportunity, but we're able to do that here for my people in our backyard, which fires me up. That's a little picture of my daughter right there, which is little, which is graduating. Got to meet a lot of cool people, mayors, council people, senators, just from the work that we do, because we're serving others here with PHP Agency. So, who is PHP Agency? It stands for People Helping People. Now, this is the mission statement. You know, every company has like a cheesy, hokey little statement that we have. Ours is saving America by bringing back free enterprise and hope to families, right? And it sounds pretty hokey. Would you guys agree? Saying sounds pretty corporate. Who bought that for you guys, right? But one word that stood out was hope. The word hope. I'm like, bringing back hope. What do we mean, right? And I really started looking in the mirror where I'm like, okay, we come from another country, right? We come here and it's a land of opportunity. And we stay here for a couple of years and we start working. And what happens? You go to work, you come home, you sleep, rinse and repeat. And that hope kind of gets squeezed out of your body. Like you almost don't have that hope. You're just next paycheck to paycheck, just trying to survive, trying to maintain, trying to have a family, trying to do all the right things, trying to stay in shape, right? And I'm like, man, it's true. Especially as immigrants, hope really gets pulled out of your system where you're kind of like, how am I gonna get by, right? So I like to call ourselves local hope dealers because we're injecting that hope back into our families, back into our agents, back into our families that we're servicing here. Now, this is our founder and CEO, Mr. Patrick Bet-David. Has anyone heard of this guy? If you search entrepreneurship on the YouTubes, you'll find him. He's got the largest channel for entrepreneurs. But he said, okay, he was looking at the different industries and he goes, okay, the insurance, financial services. When you guys think about that, what is the individual what do they look like to you? This person is in the money business. What do they look like to you? Typically,
Caucasian.
suit, right? Let's be real. It's typically an older white man,
Oh,
right? Older white guy, right? And take a look around. Just take a look around. I'm the only dude here, right? So he said, we're gonna open up an opportunity led by ladies. Some of the top earners in our company are all women, so give yourselves a round of applause on that side. The men, we gotta step it up a little bit. Where in the entire industry, it was about 18% female dominated, we're about 54%. Pretty crazy, right? And he started saying, why don't we start opening up this opportunity to the Hispanic community, Spanish speakers specifically. Now, we're a little over 56% of the entire company. So the Latinos, we're kind of taking over. So give yourselves a round of applause on that side. And it fires me up because it's giving us a platform for us to really go out and go into communities that in the past, they were never knocking on our door, right? Now, what's going on today? Anyone come from a wealthy family? Anyone got like a millionaire uncle? Unos terrenos que le van a pasar, anybody? I think we could agree how do we learn about money? How did you guys learn about money? Through debt? It's like, no one taught me, I'm still learning, right? I'm learning every day. Most people don't have a solid financial education, right? Where it's because what your parents taught you, what your coworkers are doing, or just what your family member, you got that crazy uncle, oh, I would put my money in this from across the party, right? They're never really giving you financial advice. Or if you really look at it, 36% of workers right now that have a full-time job have less than $1,000 in their savings account. Think about that, right? And towards December, they probably deplete that to get all those gifts, right? And think about this individual. They don't have the education when it comes to finances and money. Now something happens, an emergency. A car breaks down, right? Get a flat tire, right? Or an unknown emergency comes up. What do they have to do if they have less than $1,000? What do they take out to pay whatever? Woo! Bring out that credit card, right? Who loves credit cards? I love it. What are you guys talking about? I love spending that money. I don't like paying it. That's the whole different thing, right? And what's the average interest rate on a credit card right now?
I don't know. 29?
Yeah, exactly. From anywhere from 12 to 29%. Think about that. And the average household right now, it's about $16,000 in credit card debt. And they don't have one. They have 2, 3, sometimes even 4. Paying credit cards with credit cards depending on the rate. And that's what you're seeing. Lack of financial education. No one's teaching about money and they're getting into debt. And that's truly what's happening right now. And it's really sad. Another thing that's going on is people do not have sufficient enough protection when it comes to insurance, specifically life insurance, okay? Well, now, you guys coming from the medical field, how many people get into tons of debt because of healthcare? Tons, right? Now, there's solutions now that are outside of just traditional health insurance that we'll show you in a little bit that we're able to solve that issue. Or if we're talking about life insurance. In the Hispanic community, let's be real, right? We're a little closed-minded when it comes to life insurance. You talk to my tia, she goes, no me eches la sal. Do not come in here talking about death, right? Ya me quieren enterrar, right? Just the mentality. Or you talk to my tío, what does he say? Well, I'm gonna be dead, so why do I care about my debt, right? My kids can take care of that. Or he goes, why am I gonna leave something for Sancho? I'm like, tío, bro, if you don't get something, she's gonna have to get a Sancho to pay for all the debt that you left, right? And it's just we're changing the community by educating that, hey, the wealthy have been doing this for a very long time, we're just catching up, right? Next thing is Social Security. Anyone know about the Social Security system? Familiar with that? When I started working, I got my check, very excited, right? I think I was making $6.75 was the hourly minimum wage at the time, right? Subway, right? That was my first job. And I'm like, woo, so excited. And then I look at the check, I'm like, who clocked in with me? Who's the Social Security person that's taking my money? They're like, oh, well, it a little bit takes out of your check, so in the future you have some. Well, guess what? They're saying by 2037, that account is gonna be depleted. So all the money I put in, I'm probably never gonna get back, right? So they said, this is gonna be for your future, so you have some sort of retirement coming in. But that's no longer enough. The average Social Security check now, you guys know, a month, it's about $1,200. Because we live in Oxnard, California.
Yeah.
Can you live off of $1,200 a month here? No way, right? And welcome. So people have to find different ways for them to start saving for their retirement. Because now the government's really not gonna help us out in the time that we need it. And then the lastly is pension funds. Have you guys heard of pension funds? Okay. So a pension is something that was sold to me. Go work for the state. Go work for the city, the county, where they give you your golden handcuffs. So what that is, you work for them for 20 years, and at the 20-year mark, you can retire with a percentage of your pay, right? But most companies and even most organizations don't offer pensions anymore. They go, sorry, we're gonna give you something a little different. How about we give you something called a 401k or a 403b, where you gotta start putting some money into it before we can match you. And nowadays, most places don't even match you there, right? So pensions are kind of going away as well. And what else has happened? What's the elephant in the room? The cost of everything keeps going up. Keeps going up, right? Like, oh my goodness, how much is gas now? $5? $4.75 if you got a deal, right? If you got the little card there. Cost of eggs finally went down, right? We can actually have an omelet now, but everything keeps going up. Where you look in the 90s, the average cost of a home in Ventura County about $100,000. That's why nobody wants to move out. They're like, I got my mortgage way back when. Why am I gonna refinance at almost $1 million, right? Now the average home, and this is kind of America's average, or here in California is a lot more, it's about $689,000. More than doubled. It's crazy, right? How about raising a kid? Back in the 90s, about $120,000 from birth to 18. Now you're looking at about $250,000 per kid. Anyone have more than 4 kids?
I know.
Anybody? If you know anybody that does, go shake their hand because they're official millionaires for them to raise those 4 kids, right? That's the amount of money you gotta be making, right? Everything's gone up. But take a look at this. Look at the income. $52,000 in the 90s. Now you're looking at 62. Everything is doubled except our income. So what is our choices? Are we negotiating our salary with our bosses? They're gonna say, I can get somebody for half the cost to do your job. So like, man, I'm working 40 hours a week. Do I get another full-time job and sacrifice the time with my family? We have to get very creative. So right now, part-time positions or side hustles are really coming to fruition. Where if you don't have a side hustle, how are you living in California? It's just the truth, right? Let's be real. Now, this one's kind of like a doom and gloom. Wall Street Journal said, the American dream feels out of reach for most. Do you guys know what the average age of a new home buyer is currently right now? Throw out a number. What do you guys think? 30, okay.
So say 40.
40, okay. Louis, what do you think? Average age. Just throw out a number.
50.
50? I didn't get your name?
Leilani.
Leilani, what do you think the average age of a new home buyer is today?
47.
great guess. Lourdes, you went, is 51 years old. Think about that. Where before, 24-year-old, you're buying your first home, you're starting your family. Now you're buying your home at 51, maybe you already had a couple kids, right? Everything is changing. It's pretty crazy when you start thinking about it. Another thing, 83% of all individuals that have a degree are not currently in their field that they studied. Do you guys know anyone like that? And if you don't, my name is Martin, that's me, okay? You know one at least, right? So the entire system is shifting on its head. We have to get creative to get ahead, and that's truly the truth. Now, what are we doing here? What does PHP actually fit into this whole puzzle? Well, number one, we serve people. How do we do that? We deal with life insurance, living benefits. We help out with 401ks, 403 rollovers, individual retirement accounts, and also debt solutions, okay? And a little bit of Medicare supplement. So that's kind of our wheelhouse, essentially the financial sector. Now, PHP specifically does not have a life insurance policy. We don't have a 401k plan, okay? We do the marketing and distribution for some of these larger companies. I'm sure you guys have seen some of these, John Hancock, all these different guys. Now, how do we get compensated and why are we doing this? Number one, these guys spend millions of dollars on advertising commercials for them to get new clients. Everyone who watches the Super Bowl, anybody?
Oh, that's $1 million advertising.
How much is that advertisement for 30 seconds?
I don't know, a lot of money.
7 million for 30 seconds. For hopefully, so you can be like, oh, you've convinced me, let me go buy your product, right? But when we're talking about money, most people are not gonna be sold from a commercial. It's just the reality. The way that they're able to purchase products is by talking to somebody like me. Now, the difference is this. We're not charging you anything for us to put a plan in place. What do you mean? You can go to a traditional financial advisor and they're gonna charge you $1,500 just to give you a recommendation or charge you 4% of your entire assets every single month, whether they make you money or not. Does that attract anyone like us that we're just getting started? Like, I don't think so, man. I'm not gonna pay you. I'm only putting $50 a month. Like, what are you talking about? Charging me $1,500, right? So it's kind of taking away a lot of the market. The second thing is, the average client prototype that these companies traditionally market to are people that have over $100,000 in cash or net worth of $1 million. They'll be knocking on your door the next day. Guess what? That was not my family, right? They weren't saying, hey, we're gonna help you save whatever money you got. With us, we're helping out individuals that are just getting started. I mean, don't get me wrong, we help out some of the wealthy individuals too, but we're helping educate those just getting started as well. And the last thing is, we get compensated very well. So instead of them cutting a check to the commercial company, they're paying us, which is why we're so highly compensated. So instead of that 7 million going to the Super Bowl, it's coming to us, right? That's why we're attracting and recruiting so much, because you're like, hey, I can make full-time income on a part-time basis? Yes, you can, with a couple licenses, okay? Now I'm gonna cover life insurance, and then I'm gonna show the different investment types, and we're out of here, okay? So the first type of life insurance is called a term life. Who's heard of a term life insurance before? Perfect, okay, we got one person, ding, 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 right? So a term life insurance, when you guys hear the word term, what jumps into your head?
Termites.
Termites, okay, yeah. And what do we wanna do with termites? Terminate them, right? Yeah, terminate them. Or if you're in school, midterm, right? In the middle of the year. Or if you got kids, pregnancy term. It's something that's going to end, right? So that's what a term is. You buy it for a certain amount of time. In this example, we have a 34-year-old female that wants $500,000 of life insurance. Why does she want this? Maybe she has kids. Maybe she has a mortgage. If something happens to her, she wants to make sure she can leave her family with something instead of debt, okay? Now, what is this gonna cost her? Guess what? $30 a month. I think we spend more on Starbies, right? I think you're pretty much spending more on those Lala Boo Boos right now that everyone's buying, right? Like, this person can get a Lala Boo Boo every single month for the same cost, right? So if something happens to her within that term, those 30 years, her family is gonna receive $500,000, okay? The downside of this plan is once that 30 years is up and she's 64, that policy is going to expire. So you essentially get left with nothing, okay? Now, if they wanna renew it, they can, but insurance at a 64 age is a lot more than when you were 34. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the term policy.
So the younger the better?
The younger the better. It doesn't mean the insurance is best is the one that's there when you need it. It truly is. So they came up with another product. They said, okay, well this one expires and they're kind of left with nothing, right? We're gonna come up with something called an ROP. Same amount of coverage, the same individual, female, right? The cost goes up because it's at a benefit, right? But what happens? They go, thank you so much for being with us for 30 years. And thank you for not dying, right? You were putting $100 into this, woo, thank you. Now, the policy is gonna expire, But because you were such a good client and you did not die, we're gonna actually give you all that money back. So they give you a nice check of $36,000. Thank you very much for having applied with us. Now the downside is you don't have insurance anymore, but the upside is you didn't lose a dollar, right? That's called the ROP. Now, the term policy, think of this as like your first car. Anyone have like a really nice first car? You had a nice car?
Yeah, right now.
Oh, okay. Excuse me, right? I'll tell you my first car then, okay? I had a 92 Ford Explorer, half green, half black. Sometimes I get there, sometimes I wouldn't get back, okay? That's like your term plan. It's something that you get started, you know, you're not ashamed, but it's your first car. This one here, the ROP is like it's like, oh, I got a Lexus now. I got the leather seats. Maybe like you're like, oh, I got the leather seats. I got the tinted windows. I'm driving with my windows down now because I want everyone to see it's me, right? That's the ROP. Now the last one I'm gonna cover here, this is the Ferrari. This is the luxury vehicle, okay? This has all the bells and whistles. This is called permanent life insurance, also known as an index universal life, okay? This has two separate accounts. You got one that's life insurance and you got another one that's a savings account, okay? Now, it's permanent, but how long is it permanent for? It's covered until you're 120 years old. So on the other ones, my grandma's 105 now, right? Her other policy would expire, hers would still be active at her age now. Think about that for a second, right? But what's this living benefits thing? And I think in the medical field, you guys might understand this. How many of you guys known somebody that's gotten cancer, heart attack, stroke, or become permanently disabled? Anybody? And how did that affect the family financially? Would you guys agree it was pretty rough?
Yeah.
Do you think if they had access to $500,000 for medical care, for bills, essentially experimental surgery, do you think that would have changed the situation just a little bit?
Yeah, big time.
That's what living benefits does now. So the days of waiting until you to die for your life insurance are long gone. You can use it when in the time of need. That's what living benefits does. Next thing, what about that savings account? Somebody's like, I'm young, I'm good, I'm healthy. I don't want to talk about that stuff, right? Well, guess what? You do have a savings plan. As you're putting money into that plan, a portion of that pays for the life insurance, but you're gaining interest. Now the savings portion, you're able to pull out if you want and use it for a down payment for a home, college tuition for your kids, take it out for vacation money, or even use it for retirement, tax-free. Why? Because everything that's inside a life insurance plan is non-taxable. If you've never heard of this stuff, we'll send you some brochures, you guys can have it. Has anyone heard of these different products before? Like, I've never heard of this stuff, right? Why? Because the bank can't sell them. The only people that can provide them are people like myself. Think about that. Do you think some people would be interested in hearing about this stuff? How many people do you think have heard this? That's why we're growing so fast. And we're shouting from the top of the building, hey guys, there's these things out there. You might want to take a look at them, right? Now, what about investments, right? Let's say there's three basic ways you can grow your money. Very simple, okay? The first one is the blue line. It's a fixed account. Think of like your CD account in the bank. And what are you guys earning in your savings account right now in the bank?
No, I don't know.
You're like, I think they're charging me to keep my money in there, right? It's like, I gotta have a minimum of $1,500 for me to have a free account, right? But the benefit of having an account like that is you know you're not gonna lose money. Would you guys agree? That $100 you got there is gonna be there tomorrow, right? In your bank account. Unless you guys do like an Amazon shopping spree in the middle of the night. That one click, right? One click will get you. But it's safe. It's a lot better than keeping it under the mattress. Old school, right? The second accounts are the red line. That is a variable account. Think of stocks, think of mutual funds, think of Bitcoin, right? You can make a ton of money in the stocks, but what else could happen?
You know, because it's not all.
You could lose, right? And the market's been what? It's been like a roller coaster, right? Tons of people right now are losing large sums of money from their retirement accounts because they have the majority of their assets in this. The wealthy, they looked at this chart, they said, okay, I'm not gaining enough here. I'm not earning anything. And I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket and lose it on the red line, right? It's happened in what, 2001, 2008, the beginning of the pandemic, and it's happening now. Up, down, round, and round. So they created a third account, it's called indexing, where you get a portion of the gains of the actual market when the market goes up. But when the market goes down, your money is safe and secure. Like, I'm from Oxnard, guys. Like, sounds too good to be true. What's the catch, right? So the way they do it is they give you a floor of 0%. They lock in your money there, right? But they also give you a ceiling of about 12. So you get the gains from 0 to 12. Now, how does the company make their money? If it goes above 12, well, they keep those high highs, but they still give you a percentage. But for you, it doesn't matter, because if it ever goes negative, zero is your hero and your principal is protected. The days of being okay with losing money are long gone, okay? If you guys were to put your money into one of these accounts, which one would you pick? The blue, the red, or the
The
green?
green.
You're like, duh, right? Duh. And has anyone heard of this stuff? Do you think if somebody were to see this, be like, can I get more information? These are the clients that we're servicing, okay? But guess what? There's a couple things that are guaranteed. One's death, and the other one is what? Taxes. And you're like, man, I don't want to talk about that word. I just got my tax refund, right? So there's three basic ways they're gonna tax you. We have tax now. This is your savings account. This is the money that's liquid. This is what you buy groceries with, put gas in your car with. You can use it today. The downside of that is what they're taxing us today, tomorrow, and in the future. Just the way it works, right? And here in California, they tax you just for walking down the street. Like, you're taxed right there, right? Next one, we have tax later. These are your 401ks, your IRAs, 403B accounts if you're with a nonprofit, or annuities, where as you're contributing to this account is pre-tax dollars, right? So if you have one that's coming out of your check before they tax you, like, oh, that's pretty cool. Or at the end of the year, it lowers your taxable burden. So it grows without taxes. But when it's time to take it out, Uncle Sam says, hey, Lou, that's the only my cut. Don't forget Uncle Sam, right? And who thinks taxes are gonna go down in the future? Who thinks they're gonna go up? And that's the risk. Well, you're not retiring today or tomorrow, but by the time they retire, if taxes change, your retirement's gonna change. That's the difference between you going to a grocery store and getting a nice steak or having to settle for a maruchan, right? That's the real difference. And the last one is tax advantage. This is your Roth, this is your life insurance, this is your municipal bonds, where all the contributions to that account is after tax dollars. What does that mean? They already took them out of your check, but the benefit is this, the growth, and when it's time to take that money out, Uncle Sam's not touching it, and that's the difference. Which one of these would you guys say the majority of your people's accounts are in?
Probably the same.
Probably this one.
Yeah.
Where some more people start putting their money into?
Okay.
401k? Yeah.
I'd rather put on the one.
Like, put me over there, right?
Yeah.
Like, pay less taxes, right? But yeah, definitely. And that's where we come in, guys. That's what we do here. Those are some of the services, okay? Now, if you're like, hey, I like the services, I want some more information, fantastic. We'll sit with you guys afterwards to schedule an appointment. Want to make sure it's more of a one-on-one basis. Or if you're like, okay, I see what you guys are doing. How can I get involved and what kind of income can I make doing it? Let me show you. This is our compensation. Remember, we're saving Super Bowl money here, right? So let's say you have one person that wants to have one life insurance policy, and let's just say they're saving $300 a month, just as an example, okay? The way that we get paid, they take that 300, they multiply it by 12 months, okay? It's an entire year. Now, we have contract levels that start from 30% all the way up to 120. I'm just gonna give you the average. The average person at a 50% contract level, helping out one family save $300, is earning around $1,800 working directly with us. Now, how many hours does somebody need to work to make $1,800 at their job currently? You guys can throw out a number.
80s?
100 hours, 80 hours, right? It just depends, right? For us, it takes us about 1 to 2 hours of work. We do the appointment, we submit the application, do a follow-up, that's how we get paid, okay? How many people do you guys know that are changing jobs right now? Getting laid off? Companies moving the state, right? Tons of them. What if they had a retirement account, 401k? They're like, I gotta do something with my money. If I take it out, they're gonna tax me. I gotta change it, transfer it over. Let's say they have 200,000 in that account and they have to roll it over. You're like, hey, well, I can help you with that. You help them with the transfer. Just the transfer of that account, our agents are making around $7,000 per transaction. Think about the companies that are leaving. Haas?
Yeah.
Half of them went all the way to Nevada. A couple jobs still here. Big company, right? One of the biggest employers here. A lot of people are leaving the state. Think about it. How many people of those people need help with the 401k? Or how about what can Brown do for you? What's the delivery service? USPS? UPS? UPS?
Yes.
They just cut. Did you guys see how many jobs they cut? It's like over 20,000 jobs in the state of California. Those are people that had pensions, 401ks. Who's gonna help them out? They're not millionaires, so no one's knocking on their door. They're uneducated, and I can't help them out, right? Now, Martin, that sounds cool. And by the way, we start everyone part-time even if you're open. You're like, I wanna go full-time? We do part-time at the beginning, okay? So let's say you're a part-time individual, and you're like, I think I can help out 2 families a month, right? Nothing crazy, seems pretty simple. You'll be making around 2,800 monthly. We're looking at about 34,000 a year on a part-time basis, okay? And let's say you want to take this a little more serious. You want to be a producer, where you're out there helping out maybe one family a week. Like, I can talk to people, no big deal, right? You're earning anywhere between 6,000 to 8,000 on a monthly basis. Now we're talking about 6 figures, and this is more of a full-time. This is when you do the transition. You're like, okay, I think I can go full-time now. Or you want to build an actual business and be a broker, like Miss Mateo, like my mom, like myself, and be a marketing director. Or you want to have an office. Maybe you want to have your own team. You want to train your own agents, right? You get a spread of the entire production of that office. On average, you're making about 10,000 a month, looking at multiple 6 figures a year, but it just depends, okay, on case-by-case basis. Whichever one you feel yourself is you, great, we can work with that. I'm like, I'm going full-time. I was a crazy one. Like, I'm going full-time. That's what I did, right? Don't recommend